Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little dive into r/am I the butthole. So if you would like to judge some big old gaping buttholes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the post we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, that is perfectly fine. Feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just make sure you're keeping it respectful with each other. There is no need to be mean to each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? Obviously, I forgot to plug in the microphone. I realise halfway through, okay, so it does get better, just bear with. Apologies for how absolutely awful it sounds. Okay, now we'll get into it. So this first one was posted to the subreddit by Scared Vacation 33. Am I the butthole for telling a random stranger I don't care if they can tell my child's gender? So, I was in the grocery store with my 4.5-year-old son and 18-month-old daughter. My son is very obviously a boy. However, my daughter is still in that stage where she doesn't have much hair, so it's kind of hard to tell. They really do go through a stage like that. They're just like little skin blobs. She was dressed in a blue tank top outfit with bows and pink stripes, and it said princess across the front of the shirt. Very obviously a girly outfit by societal standards. I mean, yeah, but more fool you for thinking that people have reading comprehension. While in the checkout line, this lady, approximately mid-50s, remarked on how cute my little boys were. I thanked her and then told her that the youngest was actually a little girl. The lady then told me that I should style her hair or put bows in her hair so that it's obvious to other people that she's a girl. I told her I really don't care what she or anyone else thought because nobody needs to know my child's gender at the end of the day. But me. She went on to tell me that I was rude and had a few other choice words for me, which I ignored, until the point where she called me a bitch, and then I told her to piss off. The cashier kind of giggled. The following day I was at work and one of my colleagues who also has a small child around my youngest age and I were talking about the whole encounter and she said that I was a butthole. So, am I the butthole? No. I find it really weird when people are like, you have to dress your child specifically to look like the gender that they are. You know, when they're like babies and what have you. It's like, mate, it's whatever they haven't pooed on at this point. Like, do you know what I mean? It's whatever they've not pooed on, puked on, or got dirt on, because these things need changing constantly. What do you mean you want me to dress them up like a girl? If I put bobbles in that child's hair, they're yanking it out first thing that they can. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point? Yeah, it might look cute and it might be nice, but it does not last. How about we just dress infants for comfort and practicality? Like, if you want to go ahead and go all out and, you know, really dress them up, then fine, that's fair. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not saying there is. But what I'm saying is, let's not judge people for dressing their young infant children that need to be changed about 1,000 times a day in a very practical, probably not gendered way, because getting clothes on them is a nightmare enough. Without having to worry about making it all singing or dancing. Edit, for the people lacking reading comprehension, I was not offended by the initial misgendering of my child. I was offended when the lady snapped back rudely and told me that I needed to dress my child differently for complete strangers so that they can tell. Then she decided to call me a couple names and curse at me, which is when I matched energies. It's absolutely wild to me how people who don't pay someone's mortgage, put food on their table, or contribute to any of their household resources think that they have the right to dictate how somebody lives and what they do, especially when it doesn't affect them at all. Edit part duh. A duh? Do? I've never known how to pronounce that. I'm not very good with French, must say. Holy hell, I didn't expect this to blow up like this. So OP goes on to say, thank you to those being kind, to those calling names, good luck being so bitter in life, for those thinking they have me in a gotcha moment by saying, if you don't care, then why did you correct her? It was purely reflexive speech, and while I know small chat in public isn't the most common thing in every country, where I'm at in the southern United States, it is. This interaction was akin to when you're checking out at the grocery store and the cashier asks you how your day's going, and you respond, good, and you, even though neither of you truly gives a damn, and the responses aren't real, it's just being polite. Yeah, honestly, literally. That's all this was. Reflexive conversation where I was polite until she was not. Or like when you're somewhere and someone goes, oh, I really like your, I don't know, coat. And it's like, thanks. I got it from here at this time, at this date. It cost this much. And it's like, why am I giving them this information? They don't need it. I could have just said thank you and moved on. So, down in the comments, Confident Skin 6462 says, if this is real, your co-worker is as weird as that lady. And then Jay Haskell says, it's the dumbest shit ever. So many of these posts where OP clearly isn't the butthole, but they always have a friend who thinks they are the butthole. Honestly, I think that it surprises me a lot less than it seems to surprise other people. I see in the comments quite often people are like, oh, this can't be real because, like, who would say that or who would do that? Meaning, like, the person that's doing something to them. Or they'll say, who would think that they were the butthole when they clearly weren't? And clearly you've never met anyone who is quite insecure or quite socially awkward, because the amount of times I've gone away from a conversation and thought to myself, was I horrible? Was I weird? Did I come across as strange? Did I need to say that? Was I oversharing? And then you overthink things and really, you know you didn't. But your brain wants to tell you that you did. And then, you, like I say, you get the other lot, they'll go, no one actually acts like this in real life. I beg to differ. Unfortunately, there is a lot of very odd people out there that do act in very outlandish ways towards people. And I'm sure we all wish there wasn't. But there really is. Come across a few of them in my lifetime, and I'm telling you now, it never will cease to amaze me how friggin' batshit crazy humans can be, I tell ya. So then Enough Reindeer 1033 says, no, you are not the butthole. Who cares what some random person thinks? Especially one so obviously irritable. My thoughts exactly. I wouldn't have cared overall until she told me how I should dress my child. My children have the utmost of hygiene and I keep them dressed very well just because I don't want to throw bows, etc. in my daughter's hair. It doesn't make any difference in the amount of care that they receive. If only this old lady knew how hard I've tried to put a bow on her head or put her hair in a ponytail. My daughter will not have it. I am not surprised by that at all. Kids are little menaces. They don't want anything like that. They're like, if this makes me feel in any way like it's restricting my menacing activities, it is being removed, mother. And anyone who has toddlers understands how strong-willed they are. Okay, then next post posted by Polly Ollie Oxenfree. Am I the butthole for telling my sister-in-law that her son is not allowed back into my house until she teaches him not to be a shithead? To be clear, I did not say this in front of the child. Good, good. I took this past weekend off work to host my mother-in-law's birthday party. Mother-in-law lives with us. I love my in-laws and they are generally great people, but my sister-in-law has taken the gentle parenting approach, which to her means that she will never discipline her child. That's not gentle parenting. Gentle parenting is like not screaming and shouting at them or not raising your voice and stuff like that. Gentle parenting doesn't mean you don't tell them no. This has resulted in that little boy, 11M, acting like a fucking asshole, if I'm being honest. His idea of fun is sneaking up behind people and screaming as loud as he can into their ear. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I still can't hear properly out of my right ear after the most recent incident. I might have permanent damage. He walked away laughing. Another thing he did was to dump a ridiculous amount of salt into the mashed potatoes we were making while no one was looking, rendering them inedible. He thought that was hilarious. What's the bet? But she gives him complete free reign on like social media, because that sounds like something some stupid prank channel would do, doesn't it? He also took his pocket knife and carved his name into the TV in our game room. I'm sorry, why does she allow her 11-year-old to have a pocket knife? What the hell? Yeah, no, I think the gentle parenting is the least of her parenting style issues, actually. What on earth? A $900 TV completely ruined. He laughed his ass off when we found out. I can replace it, a new one is already on the way, but it's the principle. Don't destroy other people's stuff. I'm sorry, why are you replacing it? You get that little turd's parent to replace it. Like, no, absolutely not. She should pay for it. Trigger warning for animal abuse, by the way. Anybody listening that is sensitive to anything involving animals, I have checked. It's not the worst thing that you could read, but it is infuriating at the same time and very worrying. So yeah, just a warning. If you want to skip ahead, I'll put a timestamp on to where we skip ahead. It's only like a sentence or two, so yeah. Here's your fair warning. He chased my dog around, and when he caught her, he yanked on her tail and then ran away laughing. Luckily, the vet said no permanent damage was done. I feel like she's raising a serial killer. Who enjoys hurting an animal? Yeah, I would definitely agree. This is all very worrying behaviour to me, and even more so worrying that she's just gentle parenting, I say in air quotes because this is not gentle parenting, her way through this turning her kid into the next Ted Bundy or whatever. So we come to the end of the trigger warning now, by the way, so yeah, welcome back anyone who skipped ahead. My mother-in-law is the sweetest, kindest, and generally best person I have ever met, so I kept my calm and let them stay for the party. I didn't want to ruin her birthday. I love that woman. You're better than me. That's all I can say. They would have been out. They would have been out after they put all the salt in the potatoes and were screaming in everyone's ear on purpose. 11 is old enough to know a lot better than all of this. This is the sort of behaviour that maybe a 2-year-old would do, drawing on furniture or TVs, you know, except he's using a pocket knife, you know, tipping something in the food because they were trying to help, but they tipped a bit too much in. Yeah, no, this kid's 11. This kid knows better. After all was said and done and everyone went home, I sent a private message to my sister-in-law. I let her know that while I don't agree with her parenting style, she is free to raise her own kid as she sees fit, but I will not allow him in my house ever again, unless she starts teaching him how to behave in human society. Fair one, because let's be honest, is this kid a little turd? Absolutely. Is it his fault? I mean, like I say, there's a certain amount of him that would know right from wrong at the age of 11, but at the end of the day, he's been brought up to being allowed to do whatever he wants to do. His parent is literally letting him walk around with a flipping knife in his pocket. It's her fault. It's the mum's fault, you know? She is calling me all sorts of names and telling me that I'm causing drama in the family over nothing. Your kid has a friggin' pocket knife in their pocket, my love. I would say that is not nothing. Mind you, I didn't say this in the family group chat, I said it in a DM. I don't understand how that can be considered drama. I just cannot deal with that feral child anymore. Am I the butthole? I know he's just a kid, but I've raised 13 kids. Flipping heck, OP, Jesus Christ. And none of them act like that. My goodness, my love. I mean, you must have the patience of a saint, so yeah, I'm not being funny. I've got 2 kids of my own. An 11-year-old has understanding of right from wrong. This kid knows it's wrong. They just don't give a shite because the parent has let them get away with it for so long. But no, that kid wouldn't be stepping foot in my house. Absolutely not. I mean, to be honest, like I say, I would have kicked the kid out, and the parent, after chucking shitloads of stuff in the mashed potatoes and screaming in everyone's ears. I can't tolerate kids that are just disrespectful like that. I just have such a low tolerance for it. So, down in the comments, Basic Escape 4824 says, "You're good. I would send her a bill, not the butthole. Exactly. And then Aggravating Sock 6502 says this: OP needs to take pictures of the damaged TV and send them to the sister-in-law, along with a bill and a note that either she pays it or OP will see her in small claims court. And OP should know that the whole family probably feels the same about the hellspawn, but OP is the first to say anything about it. Exactly. I'd be very surprised if no one else has thought any of this before. So MN Concerto then says, just a reminder that gentle parenting still has boundaries and consequences for bad behaviour when it is done correctly. Exactly. Animal abuse is a big no, and if I was you, I would send her a bill for the TV and the audiologist. Maybe if she faces consequences, she will parent. The authorities will get involved soon enough. Can anyone say juvenile detention? Exactly. And yeah, maybe it's time to parent the parent, because she clearly ain't got a freaking clue what she's doing. I don't like to judge other people's parenting, but I'm going to today. So, next post, Turbulent Wolf 9461 says, am I the butthole for telling my brother that he shouldn't have had 5 kids if he wanted to go on as many holidays as my family? Throwaway account, I 35M have a wife, 35F, and we have 2 children, 7F, 3M. My brother, 37M, has a wife, 37F, and they have 5 children, 10M, 8F, 6M, 4F, 1F. Me and my brother are both high earners. We earn a similar amount of money each year, so it's not like there is a huge financial divide between us. My wife and I could afford to raise a large family, however, we decided to stop having kids after our second child was born. Mentally, we know that we could only handle raising 2 human beings. Absolutely fair. I always said after the second, I was like, no more, never again, absolutely not. And I mean that, like, I have no interest in ever having any more kids. That's enough. And we want to give the 2 kids we have the best life possible. We live in England. We comfortably live in our 3-bedroom house. We have a standard 5-seater car, but with the money I earn, I love to take my family travelling. We are able to afford to travel multiple times a year, and we travel during the school holidays, or whenever there is a bank holiday, we try and go on extended weekend trips. I am self-employed, so I am able to afford a good chunk of time off as long as I plan my finances correctly. Oh, you are joking me. I've done it again. My brother and his wife decided to have 5 kids, which is fine. They can comfortably afford to raise 5 kids, and they don't struggle as a family. They manage to go on holiday once a year, which is privilege in itself, but my brother has way less money at the end of each month, because providing for a family of 7 is naturally more expensive than providing for a family of 4. So this means he doesn't have as much money to travel as much as my family does, and I also don't think he has the mental energy to take 5 kids on a trip so frequently. I've just noticed that I did not plug my microphone in. Oh no, oh no. Right, I'm going to plug it in now. So you're going to get some terrible audio and then you're about to get some good audio. Sorry. Honestly, if I had half a brain cell, I'd be dangerous. There we go, that should be better now, I think, I hope, fingers crossed. So OP then says, whereas me and my wife tend to find travelling with only 2 kids fairly manageable, especially now my youngest is 3, because there is 2 parents and 2 kids. We aren't outnumbered. Plus, as a family of 4, my wife and I tend to be able to find holiday packages and we are able to book trips at a much more reasonable price, whereas my brother would have to pay a lot of money just for one trip for 7 people. I imagine so, yes. Well, today I didn't end up working because my wife had to rush off to her parents' house last minute, and she couldn't take our 3-year-old son with her whilst my 7-year-old was at school. So I took my son to my brother's house so he could play with his cousins. Whilst I was there, I had to quickly check an email in regards to a ski trip I just booked for February. My brother asked what the email was for, and I told him about the ski trip. He then scoffed and went on a whole rant about how lucky I am that he wishes he could travel as much as we do, and that I really take my luck for granted. Properly planning how many kids you can afford whilst having the lifestyle that you want is not luck. It's just having a bit of foresight and actually having the forethought to plan ahead. By the way, me and him earn basically the same amount of money per year. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I shrugged and said, I'm no luckier than you are financially. I just didn't have 5 kids. If you wanted to go on more trips, you shouldn't have had 5 kids. He laughed. By the way, I said this after a 5-minute long rant about why I am apparently so much luckier than he is. I was slightly annoyed by the end of this rant, but my son and I left the house an hour ago so I could go and pick up my daughter from school. That's when I received a text from my brother. He said what I said to him was really uncalled for. Am I the butthole? Edit, I should add that we are British, and me saying you shouldn't have had 5 kids was very much said in a joking tone. British banter is a different level of banter. Yep, can concur. It definitely is. He said to me in the past things like, well, you shouldn't have had kids, or that's what happens when you have 2 kids, if I've complained about parenting. That's our banter. I've never been offended when he said things like that, so me saying this didn't seem like a big deal at the time from my perspective, because we joke about things like this all the time. Yeah, I genuinely don't think that that was a bad thing to say anyway. Like, I totally get the like British banter thing and just making everything into a bit of a joke, because we definitely do that. Especially like topics that are a bit like, well, we're not going to agree here, so we'll just joke about it instead. But as well, I don't think the OP was a bumhole even if they weren't joking, because they're not wrong. And if he's ranting and raving at the OP as if it's like the OP's fault or something, or the OP should feel bad for their lifestyle compared to theirs, like, no, absolutely not. Okay, then, so down in the comment, TopBit85 says, LOL, uncalled for. Sounds like simple math to me, not the butthole. And then Fergie89 says, exactly, as a Brit, it is sibling banter too, I would say. 2 kids equals cheaper than 5. Math be mathin', not the butthole OP. Okay then, so last one for the day. Up Down Raccoon says, am I the butthole for spiking my friend with my tea gel? Now, I was very confused by this one at first, because tea gel is a shampoo here. So I was like, eh? How can you spike someone with a shampoo? Did you put it in their drink? I was so confused. So, for a little context, I'm a trans man and have been on tea for a few years now, and all of my close friends are aware of this fact. I'm not stealth to anyone I'm close with. Okay, so T, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, basically just stands for testosterone. Me, 22, female to male, and my boyfriend, 22 male, kinda recently moved in together November last year, and about a month ago finished getting the place completely sorted, so we both have been working a lot. Well, my boyfriend went back to his parents' house last week to visit since he had a few days off, and I decided to stay home and invite one of my friends, 21F, to stay over in the spare room so we could have a catch up and a little sleepover, because we haven't been able to see each other recently. When she arrived to our place, I had just come back from a long shift and was quite tired, so I gave her a pretty quick tour of the place, pointing out where different things were kept and singling out a single cream I had in a pump bottle on the bathroom counter, when I said, you can use whatever you like, just don't use this one. Now, maybe it's on me for not specifically telling her what the cream was, but I assumed basic manners with when you're at someone's house was that if they say not to use something, you just shouldn't use it. Yeah, exactly, like, it's basic courtesy. Like, someone says don't use that thing of mine, you don't touch it. Anyway, we stay up and chat for a while, but as mentioned before, I was pretty tired from my shift, so I suggested we head to bed since I have the next day off, and we can spend time together properly, and she agrees, so off to sleep we go. Next morning, I go into the bathroom right after I wake up and notice my little pump bottle of cream has moved, and there seems to have been quite a lot used. This pump bottle has my tea gel mixed with some hypoallergenic cream because I have pretty bad eczema, and the gel by itself dries my skin out a little. Yes, discussed with my doctor, so I'm still getting the right doses. I was going to say, have you checked that you're getting the dose right if you're doing that? But fair enough. Seeing this, I'm already panicking slightly because 1, I can already guess my female friend has covered herself in my tea gel, And 2, tea gel is also quite expensive and I have to wait to get my prescription refilled if I run out early. Yeah, I can imagine it's very expensive. I leave the bathroom with the bottle in hand to find her in the kitchen having just finished making herself a coffee. And she seems to instantly notice me holding it and gives me a half apologetic look. When I asked if she used it, she awkwardly admits she did, but doesn't really seem too sorry. In her words, she thought it was just some expensive cream that I wanted to save for myself. Which I still think is a bit of a rude thing to do, even if that was just the reason. But when I explained to her what the cream actually was, she paused for a moment before freaking out and asking me what she was supposed to do. Kinda panicked a bit as well and said I didn't know, suggesting if she had just put it on, then maybe just jump in the shower and try to wash it off, because even though I am annoyed she used it, I don't want her to suddenly get changes she doesn't want. I don't think she'd have changes just from using it once, to be fair. She might feel a little off because it's obviously going to disrupt her hormones, but I don't think she'd have any like permanent changes. I highly doubt anyway. I'm not a doctor though, so what do I know? She then tells me that she put the cream on last night before going to sleep, so the cream is obviously completely soaked in by now. And I have to admit to her, I genuinely don't know what to suggest to help her, and to maybe try calling a doctor. She goes quiet for a moment before her face suddenly screws up in this angry look and she starts yelling that I must have planned this, and that I have basically spiked her with drugs, and she should report me to the police for this. This is reminding me of a story we read a little while ago, and it was kind of on the same vein of a friend staying at someone's house thinking that they were trying to keep their expensive shampoo from them when they said don't touch that shampoo, and it's because they mix like semi-permanent hair dye into their, no, it wasn't shampoo, was it? It was conditioner, into their conditioner to like refresh their vivid color. And the person kicked off and was like, I thought you just didn't want me using your expensive conditioner, and now look at me. And she should report me to the police for this. I was honestly taken aback and I didn't really know what to say for a moment before reminding her I specifically told her not to use it, and asking how it could be my fault she used something she wasn't supposed to. But this ended up setting her off more. After yelling some insults at me, she stormed to the guest room, picked up all of her stuff, and then just left. I'm honestly not sure what to do because I should have labelled the cream or something. Well, no, because you told her not to use it and it's in your own home. Why would you label it? You don't need to. But also, she literally used the one thing I asked her not to use. My boyfriend doesn't think I did anything wrong, but she's been texting me saying I have betrayed her trust and she never wants to see me again because how could I do something like this? So, am I the bought hole? No, you are not the bought hole, and I hope she grows chest hair from it. I know she won't because it doesn't work that quickly, but wouldn't that be hilarious if it did? Just to like give her a bit of like consequences for her shitty actions. So, down in the comments, Luca Chew the cat says, not the butthole, you and the green hair dye and the hair care bottles, dude, would probably be good friends. Literally, that's what it was green hair dye. You went through pretty similar situations. And then Dahlia Furiosa says, this also made me think of that story. Okay then, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very much. If your ears have not started bleeding from the terrible audio at the start, then yay! My apologies for that. My brain is like a fart in a colander, doesn't know which hole it's coming out of, I swear to God. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications on. You can press the hype button now because I actually turned on the feature. I didn't realise you had to turn it on now. Never used to have to turn it on, by the way. It was like automatic and then they changed it. I swear they did it just to get at me, to be honest with you. No, I'm only joking. And don't forget to tell Big Al, who's gone all AI, how much you dislike him. That'll be your initiation into the Governor Void. Welcome! Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. I'm off to clean my glasses because I am basically seeing clouds in my bedroom because they are so dirty. Oh my goodness. Bye!